Hi, I'm Chap Clark, and this is the Morning Moment. I was reading this morning in Matthew chapter 6, starting at verse 25. Therefore, Jesus says, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? You know, this passage has often been talked about to try to get us to think less about our clear and obvious needs and more about the recognition of God's love for us. That's really what this passage is about. And I just want us to reflect on that for a few minutes. Less on the things that we need to worry about, whether it's something that's pretty straightforward, like what we're going to eat, what clothes we wear, whether we have shelter or not, financial difficulties, health difficulties, relationship struggles. There's a lot of things we can worry about, and all of us get wrapped into our worry that affects everything. But what Jesus is trying to communicate to us is really that next line, where he said, look at the birds of the air. I really want to have us take a minute and try to take our focus off the things that grab us right now, whether it's something we read, something we hear, something we are really concerned about, and maybe something that's even life-threatening. And what Jesus wants us to do is take our eyes off of our circumstances on a regular basis in order to be centered and settled and take a look at the birds of the air. There's birds everywhere. Take a walk, look at the sky, take a deep breath, go down to a park or on the peninsula and take a look at the water. Because what Jesus is communicating to us is, yes, life is difficult. In fact, he goes on to say, verse 34, therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. But in this passage, verses 25 and those few verses, what Jesus wants us to hear is this: look at the birds of the air, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? That's why we need to take our eyes off of our own circumstances, at least when we find ourselves getting fired up or anxious or deeply concerned, and to look at the birds, to look at creation, and realize God's great love for his creation, but also knowing that you are more valuable than all things in creation because God calls you the apple of his eye. That's just a good word for us to remember, and Jesus puts right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 6, if you want to take a look at that, starting at verse 25, that as we look outside of ourselves, as we allow ourselves to not be continually grabbed by the voices around us and the circumstances we find ourselves in, we are much more valuable than even those birds of the air that God so dearly loves. And he promises to take care of us unto the end of the age. So thank you, and may today you receive the gift of God's settling as you look at the birds.